Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I shook up the wall. I shook up the wall. I shook up the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pieces and blessings upon all my AKHis and all of my sisters out there. Welcome to Boxing Hood, episode 7. This is the Brotherhood of Boxing, so subscribe and click on the notification bell to get notified every time I post or go live. To my left, this is my broski, my AKHi.
This is AKHi Brothers Shahab. I'm here on this 7th episode.
Ready to cook something up. So to all the people that's tuning in, the number is in the description box. So call in to hold your position. I will pick up phone calls in between topics. Now, obviously, the rule always applies. If we have a decaf, OG Swag, RJ, and all of my AKHis in the chat, let me know. Put pressure on them, because pressure busts pipes, and have them call in, because you already know decafs get straight VIP pass straight to calling in to Split Decision or Boxing Hood. So today we're going to talk about Deontay Wilder. Floyd Mayweather told him, give me a call. Also, Floyd Mayweather talked about Terence Crawford and his situation with Top Rank. Mikey Garcia's situation with Pacquiao, and many more topics, even Errol Spence sparring and training. So like I said, we got so much to talk about. Depending on what you want to talk about, go ahead and call in. Also, if you got a topic you want to talk about personally, it don't got to be a debate. Even my AKHis could call in and we could talk about boxing. You could ask me about any news you want me to talk about personally. So with that being stated, call in, hold your position. Shout out to everybody in the chat. All of my AKHis, make sure you guys keep it respectful in the comment section. Don't block nobody, but if somebody is being disrespectful, put them on timeout. So like I said, let's go ahead and get it started.
Okay, so for the first topic, we got Mikey Garcia. He said that fighting Manny Pacquiao is 100% not Conor McGregor. He's fighting Manny Pacquiao, not Conor McGregor. What is your take on that?
Yeah, well, so news came out obviously like a week before. I think it's Conor McGregor himself that came out and was like, man, I'm fighting Manny Pacquiao next. And that kind of shocked the world. Even Dana White didn't like that. But I think Dana White had him taking that post down. You know, he told him, you know, that's not going to happen. You're still signed under the UFC, so you must oblige to what we tell you. Now, don't get me wrong. Conor McGregor versus Manny Pacquiao is a hell of a fight. You know, I think I'd rather see that, to be honest with you, at this point, than a Mikey Garcia fight.
Oh, you say he's under the contract?
Under UFC.
He retired?
Yeah, that's a bunch of bull crap. He's just saying that to get attention. I mean, Conor McGregor already retired like 100 times already. This is not the first time he said it. You know, he just says that. I don't know what he's trying to accomplish with that. Maybe he's like, you know, I think it's the fact that Dana White didn't give him a Khabib rematch. Khabib told him, I'm going to make you beg for that ass whipping again. He told him, I could care less about the
Smart.
money. So now Khabib got Conor McGregor begging. So the fact that Conor couldn't get the Khabib fight it hurt his ego. Remember, every time he demanded something in the UFC, because he's like the Floyd Mayweather of the UFC when it comes to pay-per-view numbers. Conor McGregor always does the biggest numbers on pay-per-view. Him versus Khabib was the biggest pay-per-view in the UFC. I think they did 2.4 million. That's a lot in the UFC. You know that nobody came close. So every time he demanded somebody, they gave it to him without any question. But now, like, it's shocking to him is, the fact that he's demanding something and it's not happening. He feels some type of way, especially after Khabib schooled him or smashed him, then told him, I'm going to make you beg for a rematch. So that's kind of like the situation going on. Now he want to fight Dustin and stuff like that. I believe Justin was on the table for him.
Who want to fight Dustin? Khabib?
Conor McGregor. Khabib already fought Dustin, but Justin that's fighting Khabib next, he was trying to fight Conor McGregor at first, but Conor wasn't interested, which, like I said, that's Conor McGregor. He wants the big names. Justin is a big name, but is a risky fight as well. So, like I said, at the end of the day, at this point, Mikey Garcia, he said that is 100% that Conor McGregor is not next, is me. But it's never 100% unless you already signed the contract. So if Mikey Garcia already signed the contract to fight Manny Pacquiao next, I would have heard about it already. Because fighters usually sign the term sheet first. They agree to terms. Then that becomes like nearly official. Everybody already know about it. Everybody already reported. And then they sign the contract, which is like a couple weeks before the fight. So the fact that he said is 100% I'm next, that makes me believe Conor McGregor is possibly going to fight Manny Pacquiao next if Dana White allows him to, right? Because remember, I keep telling people all the time, the best manager in the game is Al Heyman. So if Manny Pacquiao signed with Al Heyman, why does he need to sign with Conor McGregor management team? Why? When they don't even do boxing business. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That let me know they're trying to cook something. I think Dana White is the roadblock. I know Conor McGregor won it. I know Manny Pacquiao won it. Regardless of what Freddie Roach says, because Freddie Roach came out and he downplayed the fight, but Freddie, he speaks the truth from his point of view without talking to Manny Pacquiao. I know Pacquiao won it because of the money he's going to bring to the table. Remember, Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao is a big, big fight. I believe it cracks more than 1 million pay-per-view. Easy. Mm-hmm. But the Conor McGregor versus Manny Pacquiao is bigger than the Errol Spence fight.
So why doesn't Dana White get something out of it?
He gets a little cut, but he will get a way bigger cut if Conor McGregor fights in the UFC. I believe when he fought Conor McGregor, I believe when he fought Khabib, he had a 6-fight deal. He already fought Khabib and he already fought Cowboy. That's 2 fights. So he have 4 fights left on the table for the UFC. So if he goes and get knocked out by Manny Pacquiao, that's going to hurt his image even more. Because
would that count as a 3rd fight or
a 3rd fight? No, they won't count.
His contract.
No, I don't think it's going to count on his contract because he didn't fight in the UFC. But it will fill up his pocket. However, it will hurt his image. I mean, Floyd Mayweather carried Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather carried Conor McGregor, but he won't carry. Manny Pacquiao won't carry Conor McGregor. He will knock him out in one or 2 rounds. I mean,
you would think he'll knock him out.
Man, it won't go past 2. I mean,
but he's an MMA fighter at the end of the day.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's a UFC fighter, but it's still, his fans are delusional. They believe he could beat anybody. Like,
what I'm trying to say, he could last at least 6 rounds, 5-6 rounds.
Nah. Not if Manny Pacquiao come at him at full force. If Pacquiao, so remember, Pacquiao going to want to top Floyd. He's not going to want to be compared. Oh man, Conor did take both of them to the 6th or 7th round, and he gave both of them a good fight. Nah, Pacquiao's not trying to be in that conversation. Pacquiao's trying to end it and go home, cash the check, and also, he want to say to the public, Floyd Mayweather, Obviously, it took him 10 rounds to knock out Pacquiao. It took me 1 or 2. That's what Pacquiao want to leave home with. And I don't think he will let Conor, survive for 6 rounds. And like I said, if he really goes for Pacquiao could punch. He's a combination puncher. And he's still in a great shape. Floyd, he was off for 2 years or 3 years when he fought Conor McGregor. But Pacquiao, he's active. He just fought and beat the crap out of Keith Thurman. He dropped Keith Thurman in the first round. And Keith, regardless of what people say about Keith, he a world-class, welterweight. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking about he top 5 welterweight, which means, I believe at one point he was the 4th pound for pound in the world. So for Pacquiao to smash somebody like him, I mean, he will walk right through.
But UFC fighters take more punishment. I mean, if you're talking about the gloves, I don't think he'll be able to knock him out.
They're gonna have bigger gloves.
Yeah,
they're gonna have a ounce gloves. But I think Conor is gonna want that versus Pacquiao. It will help his cause because he could defend himself and he won't be getting hurt by the smaller Pacquiao. But remember, Pacquiao moved up 2 weight divisions and beat the crap out of Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar was way bigger than him, but obviously he drained Oscar. But my point is, Floyd is a single puncher. Floyd never been a combination puncher.
Yeah.
You got to go back to Pretty Boy Floyd. Even then, he was never, a guy that's going to let his punches fly like a Roy Jones or Sugar Ray Leonard. Floyd was always been a selective puncher. That's what made him a great defensive fighter. Pacquiao is a combination puncher. See, when you're a combination puncher, against a guy like Conor, he won't be able to defend himself. He's going to show him so much. Man, I'm telling you, he's sleeping. It ain't even a question, But we go ahead and, dive into the next round. Shout out to everybody in the comment section. Shout out to OG Swag. And my man said, big OG, hold on. OG said Conor McGregor drink too much. I think it was OG who said that. Yeah, I mean, that whiskey ain't nothing proper about it. You know what I'm saying? He keeps talking about that proper whiskey. That proper whiskey gonna get him messed up. I never like an athlete that drinks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's already a big negative for me. If you're an athlete, you need to live the athlete life, And like I said, I think Floyd Mayweather, he bet on himself to knock Conor McGregor out in the 10th round. I truly believe he had one of his homeboys to go to the casino and be like, yo, place this bet. I'm going to knock his ass out in the 10th round. And that's what he did. Now, you may say why he did that, why he won't do the 6th round. Because the 10th round is guaranteed. Is guaranteed because he knows Conor's pretty much gassed out. Second of all, he will give the fans something to talk about because he came in with a mask. Remember what Errol Spence said? He pretty much robbed the bank with that fight. Also, he probably setting up a rematch like he just talked about with the Shannon Sharp. He was talking about
he would fight him again.
He would fight him again for $300 million. So it's like it will set up a rematch, and that's kind of probably what his goal was all along.
Okay, he was on the Shannon Sharp recently, a couple of days ago. He mentioned Deontay Wilder, saying Deontay Wilder should call him. He would help him train and make him better than he already is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hold on.
What do you think
OG Swag. Like I said, my man always blessing me with that Toronto guap, I believe. I think OG Swag from Toronto. You know what I'm saying? So, OG, man, like I said, man, give me a follow on IG, AKHi TV. I know you already follow me on YouTube, but I appreciate the love and support. Like I said, man, that's an AKHi of mine. A day one. A1. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to OG Swag. So, like I said, hold on, let me, and the number, like I said, is in the description box, but is right here as well. So go ahead and call in. Shout out to OG. Hey, keep these decafs in check. Please let me know if there's a decaf. Force them to call in. Throw the area code because we want some smoke, man. All of my AKHi's been telling me they want some more decafs to call in. But like I said before, I can't pay a decaf to call in. Man, I wish a decaf would call in, man. Like I said, man, I end careers, let alone a decaf or two. So call in if you got cojones to all the decafs. But when it
Deontay
comes,
Wilder thing, yeah.
yeah. So hold on, give me a second. So so when it comes to Floyd Mayweather, he obviously was on the Shannon Sharp, and he was telling him to give him a call. He could help. Now, there's a lot of been said. There's a lot of people that said, "Oh, nah, you know, Deontay Wilder don't need Floyd. Floyd just want a clout chase or something like that." And then there's some fans that want to see Deontay Wilder and Floyd Mayweather unite. Right now, I'll say this: we could all agree, both sides could all agree that it will help more than hurt to have Floyd Mayweather in his corner. We could all say that.
So you're saying as he's to be with him or just to talk to him?
I mean, to train him, period. I mean,
To train him, period.
yeah, because that's what he do. He ain't a full-time trainer. He trains Gervonta a whole lot. He trained Devin Haney for, I believe, kind of a couple of days. He trains his son, his daughter, and his girls, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, Floyd at this time, he makes too much money to train anybody. You're gonna have to be somebody for him to train.
A big name.
Yeah, he gonna need like a Deontay Wilder to holler at him for him to train him full time. It won't be, anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless it's like a Devin Haney, unless it's like a Gervonta, but they already have trainers. Now, Devin Haney, I'm pretty sure he would love to have Floyd Mayweather as his trainer. And that could possibly be in the long run after he moves up in weight, because unless he fights Gervonta, or until he a division or two away from Gervonta, that won't happen. It's too much static, and Floyd Mayweather already dealt with too much. So, like I said, if Floyd Mayweather trains Deontay Wilder, we could all agree, regardless of what your opinion is, it will help more than hurt, because all that knowledge, you're going to soak in a whole lot. Now, one thing to point out, Tyson Fury is a defensive wizard. When you are a defensive wizard, who is the best guy to solve that puzzle? Floyd Mayweather, the best defensive fighter of all time. He's going to be able to tell you what to do in order to solve that puzzle. Because Oscar De La Hoya, for example, I remember when Canelo was fighting Floyd Mayweather, and he was telling Oscar De La Hoya was telling the public, I gave Canelo Alvarez the blueprint to beat Floyd. And Floyd responded by like,
you never beat me.
Yeah, I beat you. So how the hell you got a blueprint when I beat you? So Floyd Mayweather, nobody was able to solve that puzzle. He arguably the best defensive fighter of all time, him and Sweet Pea Whitaker. So to have somebody like that in your corner that is so in tune with the big stage, that knows the surroundings, that knows the in and out, that caught Maidana trying to get away with some slick bullshit, and he told the commission, you guys ain't gonna get no slick bullshit on me. So you need a guy like that, that's smart outside and inside of the ring. Put the ego aside and make it happen. That's how I feel about it. Because to be honest with you, like I said before, when you fight a defensive wizard, it could be very tricky, because I know that from experience. If you fight somebody and you throwing Hail Mary, everything is a power shot, and the guy you're fighting is great defensive fighter, he's going to be able to defend himself. All he got to do pretty much, and Wilder talked about this, because Wilder got a good IQ. He talked about, Tyson Fury being clinchy and just like, he just will move away the last second. Because see, when Wilder fought Tyson Fury the first time, Tyson Fury will automatically move his head as soon as he see Deontay Wilder move. The reason why is a punch coming.
Yeah.
So you got to move your upper body. You got to either move your leg or your upper body. So if you throw a feint in there, like you fainting now, every time, instead of throwing, you fainting. You're either going to feint him out of position, or you're going to feint him to figure out what's his next move. So you're gonna see, okay, he likes to lean toward his right in order to avoid my right hand. Okay, so I'm gonna feint him and I'm feint him. I mean, I'm gonna catch him when he leans that way. I'm gonna catch him. That's how you gotta play the game. Floyd Mayweather knows slick, a little hint there and here and there that could help him a whole lot. It won't, what I'm saying. At the end of the day, it ain't like I think Deontay Wilder is 34, 35 years old. So that's a saying in the sport of boxing. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. But remember, Deontay Wilder is an Olympian. Deontay Wilder medaled in the Olympics with like 12 fights as an amateur. That's unheard of. Obviously, he had power, but he had to have skill at an early age, and he's very gifted and talented. So he's going to be able to pick up a lot of things, and a lot of things he already know. He's just not using it. He got like if you have a toolbox, and one of the tools always worked. You know what I'm saying? Like you go to work and the tools it's just work. You know what I'm saying? You get the job done with that one tool every single time. You have other tools, but you rely on this tool so much that it's power that you basically got away from all the other tools. I think Floyd Mayweather could sharpen Deontay Wilder to make him utilize all his tools, such as feinting. And it need to be second nature. It need to be muscle memory. It need to be something you won't think about because at the time it's so much happening that the last thing you need to be worried about, okay, what do I need to do next? Or I need to feint, or that need to come naturally. It need to be second nature. Floyd Mayweather could have that in you. I see him how he be giving Gervonta, tips here and there, and they be some great tips. And it's always the little things that matter at that level. Because everybody understand the basic 1-2 and all of that. It's the little things that matter. If you go watch Floyd Mayweather, you will appreciate the little things that he does, the way he beat the crap out of Canelo, doing little things that you be like, man, this man is gifted. So I think it will definitely help more than hurt. Now, will it happen? Obviously, Floyd Mayweather Sr., he had a thing or two to say about Deontay Wilder. And see, things like that, when somebody come out of pocket and say things that is not too nice about the next person, obviously you won't see Deontay Wilder reach out to Floyd Mayweather Jr. But what needs to be noted is that Floyd Mayweather Sr. is the type of person, like I pointed out, he have his own character. He's I watch him for comedy, even though he got like a lot of boxing knowledge. But at this age, you can't blame him for whatever he says. He's very old, and just like Roger Mayweather, he suffers, couple issues. So you can't hold him to a lot of things. So I truly believe they shouldn't pay attention to what Floyd Mayweather Sr. said too much. I truly believe that if Deontay Wilder could get Floyd Mayweather in his corner, why not? If it's gonna help, anything to help. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we already know Tyson Fury cheated. We already know Deontay Wilder is still undefeated. But this trilogy fight is the most important fight of his career, because Deontay Wilder could have just went straight to court right away. That's what should be done. However, knowing the warrior that Wilder is, he want to get his revenge with his own right hand. Since everybody seemed to be in it, he want to get his revenge with his own right hand. So since that's the case, you better win.
Yeah.
You better win. Because now it will somewhat justify Tyson Fury cheating if Tyson Fury beats Deontay Wilder a third time, because all the decafs are gonna come through and be like, oh yeah, you see, Tyson Fury he beat Deontay Wilder even the third time when he didn't cheat. But that don't matter. He still cheated the last two times. We already know if it's a fighter on the coincidental list that cheated, and then in the trilogy fight, if he didn't cheat and still won, all they're going to talk about is him cheating the previous two times. But obviously, Hope Insurance cover everything, and because he's on the Hope list, they're gonna dismiss whatever. They're gonna try to make up excuses. You could be guilty from the Hope list, and they're gonna prove you innocent because they won't take you to court. You know what I'm saying? However, if you on the coincidental list, you could be innocent and they're gonna try to accuse you as being guilty. So I just believe that Wilder has to be very careful, because the $1 million question is, Deontay Wilder still the same? Because there's a dent on his head. I mean, how many people that have a dent on their head and they could come back and be 100%? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we got to always keep that in the back of the mind. Is Deontay Wilder still the same? So the fact that he want the revenge and a trilogy fight, that let me know he's somewhat good. Like, you know, I talked to his team and they told me he's in a good spirit, but we won't know till he spars. You know, that's the truth. You know, I mean, the team has to be positive, but we won't know till he spars and he's in the ring. That's when we're gonna know, okay, is he still the same? Is he fighting the same? So, like I said, a lot of things happen outside of the ring and inside of the ring. You know, dirty tactics, illegal tactics, cheating tactics by Tyson Fury. So, if you're gonna have somebody like Floyd Mayweather in your corner, it will definitely help, not hurt at this point in time. I will say this: it is different from a heavyweight to a welterweight. As a heavyweight, you heavier. You're not as mobile. You know what I'm saying? Because you are a heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? It's different in the heavyweight division. All it takes is one punch. So I bring that up because Wilder already, I believe he has George Foreman working with him, from what he stated on the PBC podcast. Not because George Foreman is a heavyweight. He knows what he's going through. You know, he knows things that Floyd Mayweather might not know from a experience level, because he is a heavyweight.
Yeah.
What you experience as a heavyweight is not the same as a welterweight. So we actually have to put that in consideration. If Deontay Wilder don't want to get trained by Floyd because of that, that's also that's a big factor. But I think Floyd Mayweather knows the two. You know, the difference between the two. Okay, he a heavyweight. I gotta be mindful of that. I can't be asking him to do things that a welterweight could do. I gotta, you know, basically train him for his own attributes. I just gotta sharpen him up. And I think Floyd Mayweather know that. I think Floyd Mayweather know that, but that should be mentioned. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up a call or two. أنا قلت لك اثنين بس. أنا قلت لك اثنين بس. Hello, how you doing, AKHi? Who this is, and where are you calling from?
What it do, AKHi? It's your boy Jay. What's up with it, bro?
What's up, Jay? What's going on? Talk to me, man.
We'll go down, man. I wanted to call and actually start some shit, actually. I wanted to call and start on these decals, man, because they get over here commenting, and then I'm on my boy Blue's page and Dante's page earlier. They over here talking about we ain't giving Canelo the respect he deserves. What y'all mean giving Canelo the respect he deserves? Cool, he fought Laura. Cool, he fought Floyd. Cool, he fought Shane. All right, cool. He ain't gonna whoop Charlo. Y'all should know that he avoided him for a reason. He got a franchise belt for a reason. How can y'all even defend his name? Like, I know all these decals hear me too, and I'll pray one of y'all call in. For real. Y'all over here trying to defend Canelo, but none of y'all trying to call in? How y'all defending Canelo, but none of y'all trying to call in?
Because just like Canelo, they don't have
he beat the
Just like Canelo, they don't have cojones. That's why, you know, when it's smoke time, they are no show. Remember, they keep talking about him fighting Floyd. All right, let's talk about that. Because when he was calling out Floyd, he fought Lopez. Lopez just moved up 2 weight divisions, and he fought Lopez. And off that, he wanted to fight Floyd. Floyd Mayweather told him, like, bruh, you better earn it. I only fight fighters coming off their biggest win. Ortiz after his biggest win,
class athlete,
right? When he beat Berto when he was undefeated, Cotto when he beat Margarito, Sugar Shane Mosley when he knocked out Margarito. So Floyd Mayweather made it pretty clear: I only fight fighters after their biggest win. If you want to fight me, Canelo, get a big win. Fight Austin Trout, and that's why Canelo ended up fighting as Austin Trout. He didn't just fight. He didn't fight Trout for no reason. You know, just because he wanted to prove himself. It's because Floyd Mayweather told him, fight Trout on my undercard or I won't fight you. And that's when Canelo listened to his poppy Floyd and did exactly what he told him. Then that's when he got the Floyd Mayweather opportunity. Again, keyword is an opportunity. Canelo knows he was gonna get his he was gonna get beat up from pillow to post. The only reason he fought Floyd Mayweather is because he realized, man, at the end of the day, or at least the night, if the worst case scenario is that Floyd Mayweather he gonna school me for 12 rounds. I'm like 5 weight divisions bigger than him. He started at 130. I'm a bully weight. I'm a bully at 155. He had his own division, 155. So in the back of his mind, he really felt like, man, Floyd Mayweather is not going to be able to hurt me. The only thing he could possibly do is school me, and that will still be a great, you know, exposure. Because remember, they did like what 2.2 million views. So I mean, Canelo Alvarez, he took the opportunity, fought Floyd Mayweather. He got schooled. He couldn't graduate that night. And that's why he acting like a diva today, because Floyd Mayweather made him popular. Floyd Mayweather was building this guy up to destroy him. Remember, Floyd Mayweather had Canelo Alvarez fighting Sugar Shane Mosley on his undercards, fighting all type of cats on his undercards. Floyd Mayweather was literally building up Canelo to destroy him. So that was obviously, I mean, and then they want to use the excuse Canelo was too young. He was saying he was born ready, but now he's too young. And then he's 23 years old. Floyd Mayweather talked about it. You know, when they were on the Shannon Sharp, he was like, you know, how are you going to use the excuse of Canelo too young when he was 23 years old? Floyd Mayweather said, do you know what I was doing to cats at 23? Floyd said that was my prime. That was the best version of me. So what are you decafs talking about? If Floyd Mayweather was 23, he would have knocked out the crap out of Canelo. If Floyd Mayweather was 20 pounds bigger than Canelo,
Money Mayweather.
Man, that was a
that wasn't Money Mayweather. That was Pretty Boy.
Yeah, that was
that was Pretty Boy. He would have smacked Canelo all over that ring, and it would have been stopped. The freaking Mayweather that fought Brad Judah, the Mayweather that fought Arturo Gatti, the Mayweather that fought freaking De La Hoya and Ricky Hatton. Boy, y'all crazy as hell. Y'all think that boy Canelo. Man, you decals got a lot of nuts. And then, if I'm not mistaken, one of the other decals on that freaking page, I promise you, bro, they say Keith Thurman is a more established fighter than Berto. How?
Who?
I need to know. I hope one of you decals can call in and tell me how Berto, that fought Mayweather, that fought Timothy Bradley, that fought Pacquiao. Wait, didn't Berto fight Pacquiao? He did, didn't
he? Bradley, you mean?
Berto did fight Pacquiao.
You mean Bradley?
Bradley. My bad. Bradley. I need a decaf to call in and tell me how Thurman is more established than Berto. I want your thoughts on this, since we got decafs don't want to run their mouth but don't want to call it. And then you got
you getting me mixed up. Is it Bradley or
Berto? It was Berto. It was Berto.
I mean Berto. He fought Ortiz. He fought Guerrero.
He didn't fight Pacquiao.
He didn't fight Pacquiao though. That was Bradley. That was Bradley that fought Pacquiao.
That was Bradley. I had them confused for a second. That was my fault.
Berto fought Floyd Mayweather. But regardless, that was Floyd Mayweather's last fight. It was his retirement fight after he beat the fighter of the decade, Manny Pacquiao. He spanked him every single round. And remember, Berto was a 2-time world champion. Berto came off knocking out Lopez in an impressive fashion. And he's still a world-class level opponent. You know, on the other hand, who the freak is Rocky Fielding? You know, if we being truthful. I mean,
everybody's been on his case.
I mean,
who is that?
They don't compare.
Who's Rocky Fielding?
Yeah, I mean, they don't compare. Like, if you think about, like, you got to put things in perspective. Floyd Mayweather fought Berto as his last opponent. That was his farewell fight after he made Showtime all that money. Showtime told Floyd, man, you can fight whoever you want, man. We don't care who you fight next, because you just made us all that money versus Pacquiao, all that money versus Maidana, and all that money versus Canelo. Every time you fought, it was a success. So you can fight whoever you want to fight, Floyd, after you beat the fighter of the decade by ESPN, Manny Pacquiao. So you got to put things in perspective, because when Floyd Mayweather fought Berto, that was his farewell fight. and it was still a class level opponent. It wasn't like a nobody. Berto was still a two-time world champion.
fact.
But Canelo is in
Big
his
fact.
prime. Canelo is in his prime, and he cherry picking Rocky Fielding, Chavez Jr., and all these fighters. Like I said,
Old ass Chavez Jr.
Amir Khan.
No disrespect to you, Chavez Sr., but Jr. Come on, man, he out of there, man.
Even Amir Khan, he fought Amir Khan, and it's just so many names that if you look back in hindsight, like, why did you even fight that person? I mean, I remember Canelo was supposed to fight Triple G after he beat Cotto, and he moved back in weight. He gave up his strap and fought Amir Khan instead. And then they want to talk about, oh yeah, but he still fought Gennady Golovkin. Yeah, he fought Gennady Golovkin eventually after Gennady Golovkin looked exposed against Danny Jacob. That's why I say all the time, Canelo fights fighters after they look horrible. He fought Gennady Golovkin after he looked horrible against Daniel Jacob, where I personally thought Daniel Jacob won, and also against even Kell Brook exposed Gennady Golovkin, who was a welterweight. He fought Kovalev.
That's a great point.
Kovalev, he fought him after he nearly got knocked out by Anthony Yarde, and he was on his way out. He fought, like I said, every opponent you could name. It was coming off a bad performance that Canelo fought recently. You know what I'm saying? So even Daniel Jacob, and that's my guy, he didn't look too good against Deviachenko. He won that fight with 1 point because of the knockdown.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because I honestly was going to say the same thing. I honestly feel like if Canelo is such a badass fighter that all these decals are sitting there running their mouth about but won't call in and defend Canelo, who they say is the pride of Mexico, man, you decals ain't nothing, bro. Y'all don't want no smoke, bro. If Canelo is such a badass.
Yeah, let's make it clear, though. Let's make it clear.
Hold on.
He's not the pride of Mexico. Because
if Canelo is such.
Yeah. You can go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna follow up with you. Go ahead.
If Canelo, I was just saying it to the DK, my apologies, because they done really ran me hot. If Canelo is such a badass fighter, okay, let's play devil's advocate here. Since Deviachenko just fought Charlo, and he's coming off one of like his biggest losses, to be honest, besides Triple G and Danny Jacobs, why doesn't Canelo fight Deviachenko as a so-called tune-up? And then I bet Deviachenko gets some problems. And if he fights Deviachenko and wins, I think he should fight Charlo.
Since
they think he's so badass.
He gave up his IBF belt to avoid Deviachenko. Let's not forget the reason why Deviachenko and
he did. He surely did. He surely did.
Yeah, it's because Canelo gave up his IBF strap that he beat Danny Jacob for. Remember, Gennady Golovkin avoided Deviachenko from the jump when he was supposed to fight Canelo for the
he didn't want no smoke with Derek. Yeah, he didn't want no smoke.
He didn't want no smoke. Gave up his and Canelo he fell for steroids. Remember the time when Canelo fell for steroids leading up to the Gennady Golovkin rematch?
Multiple times. More than one time.
Yeah, the IBF actually, they mandated Deviachenko to fight Gennady Golovkin, in which Gennady Golovkin, I believe, ended up giving up his belt in order to avoid Deviachenko. He only fought Deviachenko once Canelo gave up his strap to avoid Deviachenko as well. And then, truth be told, Deviachenko beat the crap out of Gennady Golovkin way worse than Canelo ever did. So that just to show and prove, because I got a decaf right now in the comment section, but he won't call in. He over here trolling in the comment section, but he won't call in. Just like Canelo.
Call in, bro. Do not run your mouth on my boy's show when he's giving y'all all the opportunity to call in and put up a fight. Yeah. He is telling you guys to step in the ring. My boy is telling y'all to step in the ring, put the gloves on, and let's get it. Y'all over here fighting with 10 ounces on, and my boy got 14s on, man. What's up?
Yes, sir. They don't have no
DKs don't want no smoke, man.
They don't have no cojones. But anything you want to say, because I really wish I could.
Before I go, Aki? No, it's okay, because I know you're short on time. That's why I'm being quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Since there's so much smoke about it going on, I got to get your personal opinion before we go. Aki, Boo Boo versus Charlo. Who wins?
Man, hey, you put me in the corner right now. You know what I'm saying? Look, I say this. That's a tricky fight.
You gotta take one for the team. I keep take one for the
50-50
team.
fight. Like I would love to see it because I to be honest with you, I truly don't know who wins that fight because stylistically it should favor Andre, but Charlo spars with Lara, who's a slick southpaw, and he been sparring Lara for a long time now. So I'm pretty sure he's very comfortable seeing that southpaw position. And even though Andre he fight different, he's more of a combination puncher than a single puncher like Lara is. But still, I truly believe that my man Charlo will be prepared for a guy like Andre. It's a 50-50 fight. Like I said before, that's the Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford at 160. I want to see the fight, but I can't. I won't be able to make a pick till like they actually fight each other because till that happen, we won't know. You know what I'm saying? Because I could change my opinion just depending on upcoming fights. Maybe Charlo don't look good his next fight, or maybe Andre, doesn't look too well his next opponent. So ain't no telling. So I'd rather make my prediction once the fight gets made. So that's one fight I would love to see though. But man, Andre is a problem. Charlo is a problem. They're gonna go in the ring and try to kill each other. That's for sure. Who you got?
I can't wait to see. But my honest pick to all the decals, to all the so-called boxing experts, I got my boy Jamal smashing Boo Boo.
Oh man, you say smash him?
Smashing Boo Boo. Smashing Boo Boo. Yes, he has mobility. Andre has mobility. He can hit you from a distance. He's a rangy fighter. He's got power in both hands. He's fast. He's got great head movement. Andre, he can do it all. He can do it all. Boo Boo can do it all. But Jamal has timing, power, that right uppercut, and youth. Andre is a little bit older. They're around the same age, but Andre's a little older. And I have to favor Jamal beating him. I have Jamal. I have the Charlos being undisputed and being I just see them being the ones, bro. They the ones, bro. The king at 160, Jamal, and the king at 154 is Jamel. What's left for Jamel? For him,
the Golden Boy fighter. But he needed to follow up with you. I think it won't be easy for either one. Whoever wins is going to be tough, because Andre is still a good fighter. He got good snap and he's very slick. And there's a reason why Canelo never mentioned his name. It's because he a problem. Trust me. But Andre, what's hurting him right now is him not being active. It don't matter who you fight. Just fight anybody just to stay in shape, just to have your reflexes on point. Because like you said, once you have a Charlo next on the opposite side of you, you want to be ready, So great talking with you though, man. Like I said, always great talking with you. T-Tone, grow some cojones and call in, T-Tone. Hey, I caught you early today.
Thank you for having me on the show.
See, this T-Tone cat in the comment section, what he does is he wastes every time, once the live is over, then he comes to the comment section. But now he done messed up. He came early. So
me and T-Tone be arguing in the comment section. Me and T-Tone, this is JJ T-Tone. You know who JJ is, yeah. Me and you be getting at it in the comment section. You know what it is. I'm about to get on you as soon as I get off the phone with my bro.
I bet. Say no more. Get him to call.
All right, I keep much love, my bro. Much love to your brother next to you. All you decans, call in. We ain't letting go with nothing. Wilder, Fury, and Gary Russell. Much love, Aki. Deuces.
Much love. So, T-Tone, call in, man. Don't do this to yourself, T-Tone. Don't do this to yourself. But call in. Ain't no mercy on you, man. We've been waiting for a decaf, man. I'm glad you pulled up, man. So call in, T-Tone. I know you don't got no cojones.
You don't know shit about boxing.
You better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.
They're calling you a chump and you won't call in? Man, T-Tone, I'm losing respect for you. I'm really losing respect for you, T-Tone. Whenever he calls in, somebody tell me, because like I said, I don't think we're going to be able to force him. If you put a gun on his head, he won't call in. Hold on, somebody said something. I don't see 503. I don't know why y'all be giving me fake area codes. I don't see 503, so, you know. Nobody have the 503 area code. One, two, all right. Let's go. So is the he won't call in, man. Let's quit bullying T-Tone, man. Let's go. What's the next topic?
Okay, Floyd Mayweather says Terence Crawford made the ultimate mistake re-signing with Bob Arum.
Yeah,
what do you think about?
Listen, I had my opinions on that in the past, where I gave my opinion and I said that I truly believe Crawford made the ultimate mistake by re-signing with Top Rank. I co-signed Floyd 1,000%. Now, oh shit, my bad. Hold on. I think the voice was on. The
voice was out?
Yeah, the voice was on. There is no 503. What y'all talking about? There's no 503. Nobody have the 503 area code. So quit making ish up and grow some cojones and call in. So go ahead, repeat
I'm gonna ask the question again. Is Floyd Mayweather went on and he said that Terence Crawford made the ultimate mistake re-signing with Bob Arum.
Yeah, I mean, I co-signed at 1,000%. I made a couple videos on that actually, where I stated that Terence Crawford made the ultimate mistake by re-signing with Top Rank because they don't have his best interest, which I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But the reason why Floyd Mayweather says that, because see, Floyd Mayweather was in his shoe. Floyd Mayweather was, I believe, 29, 28 years old. And he was the biggest thing in the world, pound for pound #1. Or I won't say the biggest thing, but he was nearly one of the biggest stars. Mr. Mechanical said, Charlo going to punish Boo Boo. Lines only. My man, Mr. Mechanical, he rocking with the Charlos, the lines only. Like I said, repeat, Charlo going to punish Boo Boo. The fools, the lines only. So we got lines only in the house. You know what I'm saying? So I think Andre, he's good too, though. You know, shout out to both Andre and Charlo. I think that fight going to happen eventually. But one thing for sure, Andre, him signing with his own, man, you know, even though that gave him a couple more fights, but he couldn't get any big fights out there. I mean, Saunders was avoiding him, Gennady Golovkin, and Canelo Alvarez. So he really couldn't fight nobody on that side. But where was I at?
It was the Terence Floyd Mayweather, Terence Crawford.
Yeah, he was in his shoe because Floyd Mayweather was like one of the biggest stars in the game. I think Floyd Mayweather was the second biggest star at the time. You know, off the dome, I think he was the second because Oscar was the first. He fought Oscar. Now, mind you, before he fought Oscar, he was still signed with Top Rank. Yeah, he was.
Who's that? Floyd.
Bob Arum, Floyd Mayweather. He was still signed with Top Rank. He was trying to get the Oscar De La Hoya fight, but because Oscar De La Hoya, he left Top Rank as well. Oscar wasn't going to do business with Bob Arum. So Floyd realized that he was trying to push for the Oscar De La Hoya fight, and Bob Arum kept beating around the bush. So Floyd was like, you know what? Sign me out of my contract. He gave him 290,000 cash. They're like, I want to leave. Now, surprisingly, Bob Arum let him go. I know that was the biggest mistake he ever made. I mean, just to let him go like that for 290,000, and it ended up costing him $1 billion because Floyd Mayweather ended up making $1 billion after that. So
how long was the contract before it ended?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long Floyd Mayweather had, how long the contract was. But see, I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit. Top Rank has very tricky contracts when you sign with them. So, okay, you have a contract for 2 years for 4 fights. They have a rule: if you fight a champion and you win a belt under them, your contract automatically get extended. That's like some bull, that's some bull, because now you pretty much every time you fighting and you fighting for a championship, your contract get extended. Your contract get extended. And if you stay winning, your name getting bigger, your contract, it will never end. Because, normally as you get bigger, you're going to sign another contract with bigger figures now because you're a bigger name. But Terence don't have that luxury. He will have the whatever, his guarantee is right now for a long time from now. So my point is, Floyd Mayweather saw that. He was like, you know what? He not promoting me the right way. He's focusing in on the Hispanic community. I want to be a worldwide star. So he left Top Rank and he became his free agent. He earns 100% of his profit when he fights. And then he gets to give the cuts to everybody he wants. So he's joined forces with Al Heyman. And like I said, now he a PBC partner for the people that don't know. He don't even fight, and he make money off every fighter that fights under PBC. But my point is, Floyd Mayweather said, and this is coming from a GOAT, he's telling Terence Crawford, you should have left Top Rank. He was questioning Terence Crawford business decision because, like I said before, Terence, he a good fighter, but he haven't been making the best business decisions. So Bomac, for example, right? He came out and said, well, listen, Terence Crawford, he's on the ESPN side. Al Heyman have all the PBC fighters. But at the end of the day, we could all fight each other. There is no such thing as the other side of the street, because a lot of people was getting on Terence Crawford. Why you didn't sign with PBC? Because that way you will be able to fight all of the PBC fighters. Since ESPN and Top Rank literally have no talent on the ESPN roster. So why wouldn't you leave and go to PBC? That was the complaint at the time. Now, Terence, over the long run, he proved his point, which was there's no such thing as the other side of the street. Fights could happen. Promoters could work with each other, just like Wilder and Tyson Fury. They could fight each other. So what's the big deal? If Errol Spence want to fight me, we could make the fight happen. If Keith Thurman want to fight me and the money is there, we could make the fight happen, right? That was the thing he pointed out. So we're like, okay, well, he got a point, right? I mean, Wilder just fought Fury at the time. I believe Wilder 1 and 2, it was like, it was in back-to-back, but Wilder versus Fury 1 was in 2018, and then Wilder versus Fury 2 was in 2019, I believe. Or, yeah, was it in 2019? Or 2020? But the main point is, they fought each other. You know what I'm saying? So Terence used that as like, see, the fights could happen. But what I always pointed out, people fail to acknowledge that, yes, there's really no such thing as two sides of the street, but there is network involved. There's businesses involved. So the reason why Wilder ended up fighting Tyson Fury wasn't even signed with ESPN at the time. And even after he signed with ESPN, Wilder had nobody else to fight. Wilder beat the Ortiz, the Boogeyman, the King Kong. Yeah. He already beat him. He already beat Stavern. He couldn't get an Anthony Joshua fight. he couldn't get any of the names in the UK. They was avoiding him. So what did Wilder do? Because Wilder really wanted to make the fight, he was like, you know what? We got to go to the last resort. We got to go to Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? And Wilder always been that type of character. He always fought the best.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the other hand, Terence, that's not the case for him. The PBC side is full. For example, Errol Spence. He have Keith Thurman to fight. He have Manny Pacquiao to fight. He have Sean Porter to fight. He have Danny Garcia to fight. He have Ugas to fight. All these guys are name opponents.
Mm-hmm.
So Errol Spence could fight every single name I just pointed out, and he won't get criticized. Meanwhile, while Terence Crawford is waiting, if he doesn't fight a name opponent, which at the moment he can't get his hand on one, he gonna get criticized. Now you can't use the other side of the street as an excuse. Oh, well, the fights ain't happening, because according to Terence himself, there is no such thing as the other side of the street. Keith Thurman is not interested, even though he overpricing himself, but he is interested. Sean Porter is interested. Everybody is interested. The money ain't there because of the pandemic, but everybody is interested. So Terence, for the moment, he gonna get criticized. Meanwhile, Errol Spence is fighting Danny Garcia and is fighting so many names back to back to back. He's on pay-per-views, back to back 3 times right now. He done fought Sean Porter, he fought Mikey Garcia, and now Danny Garcia, all on pay-per-view. And they all doing tremendous numbers. They all, doing more than 300K. So PBC is not in a hurry to make the Terence Crawford fight on a business level. This ain't about Errol Spence. Errol Spence will fight Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford will fight Errol Spence. But at the end of the day, or at least the night, PBC is not their best interest to make the Terence Crawford fight right now. Why? When they have a bigger fight to make, which is Manny Pacquiao.
Mm-hmm.
If they could get Manny Pacquiao in the ring with Errol Spence, you think they're going to make the Terence fight right now? No, absolutely not.
They already got big names.
They got big names. They could, they could make a tournament, and they will be fine without Terence. Meanwhile, Terence is all alone in the ESPN side. Now, like I said, I pointed out, yeah, fights could happen. Yeah, promoters could work with each other like they did for Pacquiao and Floyd, but they have to be on that magnitude. And again, that's another key element that I'm about to mention, which I want you to pay attention to. Crawford is arguably one of the big names in the sport of boxing, but he is not top 2 biggest. So they don't need Terence. So Terence Crawford, when he fight on ESPN, he does more numbers than Lomachenko. He does more numbers than any fighter on ESPN. He does one of the most highest numbers on ESPN. I believe when he fought Benavidez, he did the biggest numbers that year. Him and the Charlo brothers they do the biggest numbers on pay-per-view. But still, he is not a pay-per-view star. Where all these other fighters on the PBC side, they're looking at Terence like, oh man, I need to go make some money fighting Terence. He ain't a Floyd Mayweather type of name, where Floyd, it was actually Floyd Mayweather that created PBC with Al Heyman, because Al Heyman had Floyd, and all these fighters want to fight Floyd. So like, okay, you got to sign under me to get a Floyd Mayweather fight. Right. So he signed all these fighters that was promoted by Golden Boy. He became their manager. And then Golden Boy was too busy, doing his thing, having fun. And then Al Heyman somehow finessed him out of all his fighters. So what I'm saying is, Terence Crawford is not that type of a name. You know what I'm saying? He's not that type of a name on the PBC side on the ESPN side to actually have all these PBC fighters want to fight him to make all that money. It's a legacy fight. They're going to make good money, but he's not that big of a name. You know why? Keith Thurman is requesting 10 million. He's not getting 10.
Right.
So that's why, he probably got, he could end up getting 5 max at this point, 5, 6, but he not going to get 10. So Errol Spence, on the other hand, he's on pay-per-view 3 times already.
Yeah.
And he's only getting bigger. After he survived in a miracle way, his name just got bigger. So fighters gonna look forward to fighting him even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it'll be more interesting.
Yeah, but Terence don't bring that type of interest to him. So it's like, okay, you could stay on the ESPN side. I mean, nobody gonna come look for you because you a high risk fight.
Right.
He's still a high risk, regardless of what people say, because everybody's a fan. Everybody's a fan of Errol. Everybody's a fan of this guy. A fan of that guy. Regardless of what people say, Terence is a huge risk. He pound for pound, arguably for a reason, because he's a very huge risk.
And the money's not worth the risk.
And the money is not worth the risk to them. It's like, man, I could make 2 million fighting a Danny Garcia. I could make 2 million or 3 million fighting a Sean Porter. That's still a tough fight, but my point is, you know, if you could make 2 million, 3 million fighting a Ugas, why would you fight Crawford for that for that amount of money? So that's why Floyd Mayweather pointed out, like, man, you made the ultimate mistake by re-signing with Top Rank, because at the end of the day, or at least the night, Top Rank, they only paying him certain amount of money, and they not giving him the big names.
Well, isn't Al Heyman Errol Spence manager?
Yeah, Al Heyman is Errol Spence manager.
Okay, so who is Crawford's manager?
Bomac. Bomac is
Bomac. Okay, but isn't he his trainer?
He is his trainer. He is his trainer, but he also his manager. So
how's that?
Yeah, so it's like, okay, and that's the thing about it, right? If you compare Errol Spence manager and Terence manager, is a big difference, man. To have Al Heyman as your manager,
because Al Heyman doesn't train nobody.
Al Heyman, man, he helped you make millions and billions, like he did to Floyd. He ain't training nobody. He training your mind. He gonna give you the best deal. Bomac is his manager. I don't know how that came to fruition, to be honest with you, but I think Bomac was with him from the jump. Like I think he raised Terence from an early age. So Terence, out of love, he gave him the management position. But I think he should have just gave him a bigger cut when it comes to training him, because Bomac is now the only trainer. So
with Terence Crawford,
I think Terence got like 2 more trainers, but still, I think he his main trainer, from what I heard. But the point is, if you compare Bomac and Al Heyman, their business mind, their business plan, it don't compare. Bomac doesn't know the in and outs like Al Heyman does. And that's where I think, now that you mentioned that, that's where I think the biggest mistake Crawford made is actually having Bomac as his manager, because I think he should have just gave him the bigger cut of, he should have gave him 10% of his purse when it comes to training. He should have gave whoever, the other trainers 2.5, and he should have had an actual manager, because to have Bomac as your manager, I mean, I don't think he's getting the same cut that Al Heyman will get, but still, the management position is a very important position, because your manager will tell you what your next move should be. He's not going to stop you. Like if Al Heyman is Crawford manager, he's not going to stop him from doing whatever he wants, but he's going to advise him, like, okay, I personally think 1, 2, 3, this, that, and the third. But if you want to be stubborn and you want to do what you want to do, it is what it is. Like Mikey Garcia, Al Heyman told him, I don't think you should fight Errol Spence. Mikey chose to be stubborn. Oh no, I want it. I demand it.
Who said that to Mike?
Al Heyman.
Al Heyman, okay.
Yeah, and I, like a lot of people don't even know this. Al Heyman was trying to stop Mikey from fighting Errol, but Errol was the cash cow, because even though he haven't fought on pay-per-view yet, he was the boogeyman and he was doing numbers on TV, and he was putting asses in seats. And Mikey saw that. He was like, you know what? As long I could survive, if I don't get knocked out, it's a win-win. I'm gonna make a lot of money and I'm gonna earn respect, regardless of
nobody expecting him to win.
Yeah, regardless if I lose. But my point is, I just don't understand why Terence is doing what he's doing, because it ain't like they showing him some extraordinary love on the ESPN side. Like if they showing him some type of extraordinary love, I'll understand why Terence is like, you know what, I refuse to leave.
Is it because he wants to do his thing, like to be on his own thing, not be with Errol?
Yeah,
because of the whole Errol.
you need to be with Errol. You need to be with the Errol side. You need to be with the PBC side because that's where all the big names. That's where all the big names could get made. Obviously, they can still get made right now, but he's not that big of a name to draw all of them in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like if you don't put yourself in that circle, nobody's gonna come look for you. Remember, it ain't like he getting extraordinary love on the PBC on the ESPN side. I mean, name me anybody on the ESPN side that overpraising Terence right now. Teddy Atlas talked to him. He told him, "You have the best instinct of all time." And then when they showed they showed the screen, they had Lomachenko as pound for pound number one, and they erased his freaking loss while they was doing the interview with Terence Crawford, and they had Terence number two, and Lomachenko number one. So they showing you to your face, they being biased toward Lomachenko. They showing this to Crawford. I mean, if you don't believe me, look at today.
Yeah.
Lomachenko has a big fight coming up with Tio. That fight could have been on pay-per-view. I'm glad it's not on pay-per-view, but it's on ESPN. My point is, Lomachenko got a big fight coming up. Bob Arum said the Crawford fight versus Kell Brook is not even a guarantee. He said ESPN is not interested. Remember, the person that's bringing the biggest amount of viewership to ESPN that's a boxer is Terence Crawford. It's not Lomachenko. But they made sure they put Lomachenko first on free TV before they put Terence Crawford back on free TV. Even though Terence does bigger numbers than Lomachenko. So while they erased his loss, which is Lomachenko, they got him back on TV first. And now they talking about Crawford with the Kell Brook opponent. Man, they don't have the money for it. They're not trying to back it up because they don't see the interest and they don't have money for it. Like, what do you mean? It's still a big fight, regardless of what people say. Kell Brook has loyal fans that will tune in the UK once the fight get made. Now in the United States, Terence is obviously going to have to carry the fight by himself. But I mean, it's just to me, I think it's a bad look on ESPN behalf on Top Rank. But it's also that's Terence Crawford's fault. Like I said, I don't criticize fighters for their business decision making. I criticize fighters for their business decision making when it comes to fighting. If they willing or they not willing to fight a certain opponent. But when it comes to whatever he want to do as far as signing with PBC or ESPN, that's on him. He want to be loyal, but how you going to be loyal to an entity that's not being loyal to you? I mean, obviously they got him to the position that he is today. We got to acknowledge that point.
Yeah.
They signed him when he was a nobody, but that's what they did to every single fighter. Floyd Mayweather, Top Rank, signed him from the jump. Floyd Mayweather, Pretty Boy stage, it was all with Top Rank, but they only could get you so far. If you limit yourself, you can never grow. If you limit yourself to a certain amount of circle, you're not going to grow. Crawford, I believe he exceeded the circle that Top Rank puts him in. And in order for him to be a superstar, he had to go to the PBC. Well, he's missing out because I don't think Bob Arum's going to let him out at this point, especially after Floyd Mayweather and what he said, and after the big mistake he made with Floyd. Even Floyd Mayweather pointed out, like, he don't get it. He said, at first he said Muhammad Ali the greatest. Then he said, I was the best ever after Muhammad Ali. Then he said it was Lomachenko. Like, which one is it, Bob? Like, Floyd Mayweather was talking to Bob, like, man, you contradicting yourself in order to promote, the fighter you want to promote. But at the end of the day, or at least the night, Floyd Mayweather also added that in a million years, Lomachenko is not a better fighter than Crawford. And Lomachenko know that too, because when Crawford called him out to link up at 137 pounds, when Crawford was still at 140, Crawford was at 140. He called out Lomachenko. He said, if you guys believe Lomachenko is pound for pound number one, well, bring that ass. I'll test that ass too. I fight him at 137. That's 2 pounds south of 135, a division he about to fight in. Guess what Lomachenko said?
Hmm.
He said Terence Crawford pound for pound number 1. Like, what do you mean, bro? Like, this dude calling you out. He's saying all that. It's like, it gave me a flashback to when Gennady Golovkin was claiming he the boogeyman and he will fight anybody from 154 to 168. And then when it was time to pull up, Andre Ward knocked on his door and he said, oh, now he's not interested to do a catchweight at 164. Like, what do you mean? And Andre Ward was pound for pound number 2.
Mhm.
So when Lomachenko said that, I was like, okay, his team squashed it. They were like, you know what? We will never fight Terence Crawford. As soon as Terence moved up to 147, guess what happened?
He's pound for pound.
Lomachenko started ripping. Yeah, I'm pound for pound number 1. That was a quick turnaround now. Just a week ago, you were saying Terence is pound for pound number 1. As soon as he moved up to 147, now you claiming you pound for pound number 1. When he challenged you for that pound for pound status, you know what kind of fight that would have been? A big fight. But Lomachenko obviously already turned down the Manny Pacquiao fight at 135. He turned down the Devin Haney fight, a green fighter, according to his own words. He already turned down a Salido rematch, a guy that beat him. So it's like, it don't surprise me. But at the same time, I'm just saying, when you see ESPN pushing Lomachenko the way they do, that's why Floyd Mayweather, he said that. He's saying it's super biased because they push Lomachenko, erasing his losses. Meanwhile, they won't even give Terence Crawford a fight. They won't even give him a fight. They talking about Kell Brook asking too much. Man, $2 million not too much, man. Or whatever it is. It's not too much because Crawford does the biggest numbers on ESPN. But that's his mistake that he got to deal with because, like I told you, Bomag came out and said, the PBC fighters aren't fighting each other. Look at Errol Spence. He ain't fought nobody on the PBC side. Okay, let's look at PBC right now. Errol Spence fought Mikey Garcia after fighting Kell Brook. He fought Mikey. He fought Sean Porter. He fighting Danny. And then he could fight Keith because Keith now he's calling him out.
Yeah.
He could fight Manny Pacquiao if Pacquiao willing to face him. What do you mean? Danny Garcia, the guy that they call him the cherry picker at welterweight, he fought Keith Thurman. He fought Sean Porter. Now he fighting Errol Spence. Keith Thurman fought Sean Porter. He fought Danny Garcia. He fought Pacquiao. Pacquiao fought Keith Thurman. He fought Broner. You think Pacquiao will have ever fought a guy like Keith Thurman if he would have still signed with Top Rank? Man, after Pacquiao lost to Floyd Mayweather, they had him fight Bradley for the 3rd time. Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for a Bradley fight at that point. Like, people were so fed up of that fight. Nobody wanted to see.
Promote fake.
So it's like they try to push for that. Pacquiao back, but it's like it was long overdue. The Bradley fight was long overdue. The Marquez fight, they kept having. They have Pacquiao fighting Marquez 4 times till he got knocked out. You know what I'm saying? But they never had him face a young gun. When this is what crazy to me, right? Pacquiao was with Top Rank. Terence was calling out Pacquiao heavy. Now, Bob Arum came out and said, I actually interviewed Crawford homeboy, and he teamed Crawford, and he told me, I asked him that. I wanted to get his perspective on this situation. I really was curious. I was like, man, so I asked him when Pacquiao was still with Top Rank and Crawford was calling him out, why they didn't make that fight then? Why are they talking about this fight now? Bob Arum was coming out claiming that the fight is nearly done between Pacquiao and Crawford. And I told everybody that was a bunch of bullcrap because if Pacquiao would have fought Crawford, he would have fought him then when he was still with Bob Arum. But when Bob Arum had both fighters signed under his contracts, he didn't make the fight happen. According to Bob Arum, he said that at the time, he said Pacquiao was too old. He was scared for Pacquiao life.
That's before the Marquez fight?
No, this was after. I'm saying Terence Crawford, when he was calling out Pacquiao after Pacquiao lost to Floyd, he got a couple wins. And Crawford was trying to fight Pacquiao, but Pacquiao refused. I think Pacquiao said the money wasn't enough. He wanted $20 million. But I don't think that was the deal because from inside sources, they said they was offering Pacquiao a lot of money. That he will not refuse. He can't refuse.
So why?
But apparently Pacquiao didn't want the fight because even his trainer, Freddie, he said that Crawford is like Floyd Mayweather with power at 147. Then what's his name? Or at 140. Then Pacquiao ended up fighting Jeff Horn and losing. After he lost to Jeff Horn, that's when he felt like he got set up and he left Bob Arum. And Bob Arum, I don't even think he wanted to re-sign Pacquiao because he said Pacquiao was asking for too much money. So when Pacquiao went to PBC and fought Keith Thurman, that's when Pacquiao said, "Yeah, I didn't make the Pacquiao versus Crawford because I didn't, he's too old. I don't want to see Pacquiao get hurt."
Who said that? Bob
Arum.
Bob Arum.
It's like, what do you mean? Your job is to promote Crawford. At the end of the day, why did you make Oscar versus Pacquiao? Wasn't Oscar too old? But it's like I said, it was just out of pocket when he said it. He was just trying to make an excuse, whatever the reason was. At the end of the day, Crawford is his fighter, and he's not showing that he have Crawford best interest because he should have did whatever it takes to make that fight happen for Crawford at that time. So like I said, at this point, you know what I'm saying? He just made the ultimate mistake. So he got to live with it. Now he got to pray on the fact that he's going to get the Errol Spence fight in time because like I said, nobody going to criticize Errol Spence if he fight Danny, then fights Keith Thurman, then fights Pacquiao.
Because he's busy. He got too many.
He got names.
Enough.
And also he's coming off a car accident. So like Crawford told him, whenever you're ready, come holler at me. So if Errol don't feel like he's ready, he can use that.
They're gonna make.
I mean, they're gonna fight. They're gonna make the fight. But but if Errol Spence fight Keith Thurman, if Errol Spence fight Pacquiao, if Errol Spence fight all these guys on the PBC roster, by the time he fight Terence, the cut will no longer be 60-40. The purses. Errol Spence will be the A side so much that Terence is gonna maybe have to come see him on the PBC side. Errol could probably be like, "Man, I'm Floyd Mayweather right now. I went from the truth to the money. You gotta come see me. I'm the cash cow."
What determines the A side if they haven't fought each other?
I mean, who's the bigger name? There's a lot that come into play who have it ain't more belt, it's pretty much who have a bigger name. Errol Spence is already the bigger name. But you have to be like if Errol Spence could become nearly a Money Mayweather, then Crawford gotta come see him. And that's what I mean. Crawford made the ultimate mistake because while Errol Spence is racking up big names, that's building his name, is building his brand. He's getting more popular. He becoming the cash cow. Terence is not growing in popularity. He's a popular fighter, don't get me wrong.
And they're not even putting him number one in his own.
Yeah, in his own network, they're not showing him love. In his own network, they doing him dirty. They putting Lomachenko above him, undefeated, during his interview. It's like they basically getting clout off Crawford name, promoting Lomachenko as undefeated to the casual fans. On the other hand, Crawford, they're not giving him name opponents, so his stock is not rising. His name is not building. Meanwhile, Errol Spence, as we waiting,
is racking up
names, is racking up legacy, is racking up. And then when it comes to negotiation, guess who's the A side? Errol. It's not even the A side no more. Crawford has ended up on the Z side. So he might come, Errol might tell him, "Hey, listen, you ain't even that big of enough name for me to come see you on ESPN or do a joint promotion. You come see me on PBC or we don't have a fight. If you beat me, then we do a joint promotion." I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen because I believe Crawford is still a big name where they're going to have to do a joint promotion. But who knows? If Errol Spence beat Manny Pacquiao, that could end up happening. That could end up. That's probably what will end up happening. So we'll see. Let me go ahead and pick up a call. How you doing, Aki? Who this is? Where are you calling from?
Yo,
Yes, sir.
Aki, what's good? You can hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on? Talk to me.
was popping. This is Far Rock Mills. That's the one that said Jamel might lose that fight to Rosario. He told me to call back.
Hey, I was wondering where you went. I was wondering. I was like, where my AKHi at? Because you didn't want to show up. Talk to me. Were you impressed? Because he put
I would
your boy
never
out.
do that to you. Hold up. Let's get busy because I've been waiting to do this all day after work. Yo, first off, let me first do the right thing and said you the man, you called that, okay?
Yes,
That's
sir.
let me be the man first and do that for. But let's not act like your man did not eat a million shots that fight. Yo, I started to feel bad for him. Even though he got the win, he was getting walked down the entire fight, son, and almost didn't know how to handle that shit. How you feel about that?
Well, the way I feel about that, to be honest with you, is in the sport of boxing,
Mhm.
if you box, you're gonna get hit. Just like if you swim, you're gonna get wet.
Oh, I
You
knew
feel
that
me?
was going to
So
be the
it's
cop
like at
out.
the
I
end of the
knew it. I
day,
knew it.
as long as you could, find the W and you could dig deep inside and find the win, because Rosario was gamed. I told you he was gonna be gamed. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot on the line. You know what I'm saying? But Jamel, he stayed calm under pressure. He was able to select the right shots and put him out. And I mean, like I said, that jab, I never seen that done before. You know, at the end of the day, Jamel did something that was never done before, which is get a devastating KO from a jab. That's why I'm telling you, Jamel will start using that jab like there is no tomorrow. You know, that Floyd Mayweather stick to the body. He learned that. That's what he learned that night. It's like,
Nah,
man,
that was beautiful, son. Like I ain't gonna hold you. That shit was beautiful. That's he put that boy into convulsion, into a fucking seizure from a stomach shot. That shit was beautiful. I ain't even gonna hold you. But
yes,
just to be real, he almost looked like he ate just as much shit that he ate in the Tony Harrison first fight. Tony Harrison was exposing that boy in the first fight. So that's what made me feel like, oh shit, this ain't looking too good for boy. He can't be taking shots like that, son. Thinking like, he got that iron chin. Because at some point in time, he eat some more. He eat a few shots like that during a motherfucker that can really put him the fuck out. It ain't gonna be too nice. It ain't gonna be too good for him, baby. But
yeah.
I had to give you a call. I had to give you a call to tell you, yo, bro, you called that one. Yes, you.
Yeah, we're losing.
That I think that the big Charlo will be undisputed in that weight class. I truly think that's coming up next. I think they both will be running the divisions that they're in. I can't stay too long, but I just called really just to be a man of my word. It's just because you told me to make sure I call back, win or lose.
Yes,
So
sir, yes,
I
sir.
gotta hang up, but I promise to God I will be giving another call back when I got more time to talk. You heard?
I got
But I
you,
just want to be a man of my word and shake your hand virtually and tell you got that one.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Respect for that. Appreciate it.
Salute all the way from Queens, man.
Yes,
Salute.
sir.
Y'all enjoy the rest of the show.
New York, New York. Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Peace.
My man called in. He had to eat his crows. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, at the end of the day, respect is earned, not given. And Jamel, he earned a lot of respect. I already knew he was cut from the lion cloth, but a lot of people doubt him, and he proved his point. Now, man, how crazy is it? T-Tone's still trolling in the comment section, man. Man,
about you
if you don't call in, man, I'm telling you, T-Tone, don't make me violate you, bro. I'm trying to be nice about it. Call in, bro. Just call in. If you got a point to prove, just call in. Like I said, yeah, Canelo don't have cojones just like you. You have female parts. We already know. Because we calling you out. We calling you the chump you is, and you still don't have cojones to call in. That proves you have female parts. What color draw you got on? What color? Put in the comment section what color draw you got on. See, he ain't calling in. I keep checking this. Man, I'm praying on the day he call in, but let's just move on, man. He tripped. He won't even call in.
Okay, we got Errol Spence. He had his first sparring. What'd you think about it?
Yeah, well, that's what I've been waiting for, to be honest with you, is his sparring, because, you really got to wonder how somebody's going to come back. A lot of people are writing Errol Spence off just based on the car accident in which he survived in a miracle way. So they're like, you know what? He's not going to be 100%. They just automatically assuming that. So I'm very connected in the industry, in the sport of boxing, and I haven't heard any bad news. Where like, oh man, Errol didn't look too good. He wasn't reacting too well. So alhamdulillah, that didn't happen. So I'm just glad that everything is well, because I'm pretty sure if something happened where like Derek James saw something that he didn't like, he would have told PBC, hey, listen, it's too early. Let's push the fight back, or we want a different opponent, a lighter touch, So I'm glad I haven't heard anything like that yet. So it's definitely a good look, as long as Errol Spence is himself, I truly believe he will walk down Danny Garcia eventually and possibly stop him. But I think he should fight this fight super smart. I think the way he should pursue this fight is just how Lamar Pearson fought Danny Garcia. Box early, apply pressure late, fight smart, vary your offense, vary your speed, be sharp defensively, get the W. The main thing is make your money and get the W. Just flip your M to a W. Just make sure you're all there. And after that, the sky's the limit, because I wouldn't like Errol to take chances in this fight. Speaking from, just the fan point of view, because remember, Errol, the way Errol Spence fight, man, he take a lot of chances. He's just good at it, where a lot of people don't give Errol Spence credit for his defense, being offensive.
Yeah.
See, normally when you box and you're moving around, you're moving away from danger. You constantly moving away from danger. Your opponent got to stalk you. But when you coming forward, that's when you have to be super defensively responsible, because
the punch will be much more.
It's more impact. Also, if you boxing, right? If I'm trying to get away from a right hand you threw, so the best way to do that is get away with footwork, because if I step, I won't call a step back, but circle around. When you circle around, you getting away from your opponent. You know what I'm saying? But when you come forward, I could slip a punch, but I could walk into another punch. You could set me up.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say. So coming forward is very dangerous, and Errol is a master at that. A lot of people see a lot of decafs that discredit Errol when he beat Kell Brook don't realize how special Errol is. I remember when Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, man, he will come forward with head movement like Mike Tyson. But he will do it so fast and come in the inside and work the body and work upstairs. Man, I was just like, wow. Like, man, this man, he more special than I thought. Even though I was already telling people that's the second coming of Sugar Ray Leonard with his own style, with his own way. I only made that comparison because he got the nice person persona. But I knew he had a dog in him from the jump because of all the sparrings. And I didn't talk to Deontay about Errol Spence so much. He didn't inform me on him. I was like, man, from what are you telling me? He the next Floyd. But it's like, you really got to prove that you the next Floyd before we talk about it. But the way Errol Spence fought Kell Brook, that's where I was like, oh, no. I know. Because you won't know till somebody step up to that level. And Kell Brook was arguably the best welterweight at the time.
Yeah. And
the way Errol Spence will move his head coming forward, defensively responsible. He will get caught. Like I said before, if you box, you're going to get hit. If you swim, you're going to get hit. You're going to get wet. He will get caught here and there. But, man, he was just showing so much in that fight. His skill. He showed skill, veteran moves. He showed his dog in him. He showed that he stick to the game plan. He showed his IQ in the ring. He just showed the whole package in that fight. And the jab. I always talk about Charlo as being, I always talk about both of the Charlo brothers, mainly Jamal Charlo, as having the sharpest jab in the game. But Errol Spence, also have one of the best jabs in the game. I remember when he fought Mikey, he will pump that jab like 5 times. He will throw a single jab, double jab, triple, quadruple. And I'm like, man, I mean, it's like that ass sharp, fast, hard jabs. And he do it with no effort. No effort. And that's when I was like, man, remember, this is the same person that has a sharp jab and also the best body work in boxing. It's one thing to come forward, but it's another to come forward and not get hit and still get the job done, to go to the body, go to the head. Like I said, if you watch Errol Spence, everything he does afterwards, he will defensively, he's very sharp, even with his offense. That's what makes Errol Spence dangerous. So I just hope that Errol Spence fight defensively responsible first. You know what I'm saying? Box and then apply pressure the smart way like he always does. I think he stops Danny, but in order to stop Danny, he's gonna have to take chances. So I think he shouldn't even do that. I think he just cruise a victory and just
decision.
There ain't no split decision, man. A unanimous decision, man. That's my show. Appreciate you showing love.
But you're not gonna really see how, even if they watch the sparring, you're not really gonna see how good or how he back after the injury, after the car accident, unless the first fight against Danny Garcia. And Danny's no joke.
We won't know. We won't know unless he spars Jamel Charlo. If he spars Jamel Charlo for real, we're gonna know.
That's the Jamel.
Yeah, because
youngest one.
Yeah,
not the youngest one. The
brother that fight at 154. See, Jamel, he favor. I mean, I don't say he way better than Danny Garcia, but he's still a pretty much a guy like that fights like a Danny. I ain't gonna say that. I think they don't even compare, but he's more dangerous than a Danny Garcia. He could emulate Danny Garcia in sparring. So he could start throwing that hook, trying to show Errol Spence different looks to prepare for Danny Garcia. So you spar as Jamel Charlo, who's better than a Danny Garcia, then you're gonna be prepared for a Danny Garcia. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. And speaking of Jamel Charlo, a fight I really want to see him against is some of these welterweights. If he can't unify, I would love to see him versus Sean Porter. I mean, Sean Porter, in the past, he when he talked about the Lubin knockout next to Jamel, he was like, shh. He said, when I saw Jamel knock out Lubin, I looked at my dad and I was like, shh, we don't want none of that. He was honest with it. But Porter a dog. He fight anybody. He was just saying, man, that's too much smoke. We ain't fighting that. But now they talking about him moving up in weight. So
who's that? Sean Porter.
Sean Porter, he was talking about that on an interview. So Sean Porter versus Jamel is a hell of a fight. But man, that power. However, one thing Porter could bring to the table is that pressure, that constant pressure, awkwardness too. But at the same time, you're gonna be coming into Jamel, and Jamel is a big dog. He the best 154 pounders, one of the best pound for pounds. But I mean, if Porter could hang in there with Errol Spence, he could hang in there with Jamel, I think. You know what I'm saying? So give him Jamel. If Jamel can't find any opponent, even after he have like nearly all the belts, even after he a pound for pound fighter, even after he number one in his division, if he can't get nobody, then give him Porter. I think Porter will stylistically be a great fight. I think obviously I have to favor Jamel, but I think Porter give him a fight. I don't know. I will be intrigued to see if Jamel could stop him or not. But that would be a hell of a fight. You know, Porter against anybody is a hell of a fight.
Yeah.
So I would love to see that. I mean,
Porter, always aggressive.
Yeah, Porter got the best resume in the game. And to a lot of decaps, they always say, oh man, this guy, Canelo, he this, he that, because he got the best resume. Well, Porter got the best resume. I don't hear nobody talking about Porter the best in the world because he got the best resume. And he had the cojones to fight everybody. So, you know, it comes with resume and how you perform. It ain't just your resume, it's how you perform.
Yeah.
Can you get the W? Can you get the W in an impressive fashion? Like Crawford and Errol Spence. The way they dominated their opponent. The way Errol Spence dominated Kell Brook. the way Crawford dominated every single opponent. So that's really the $1 million question. Like the Charlo brothers, when they dominated, like every time the Charlo brothers stepped up, like Jamal Charlo against J-Rock, he knocked him out when he was undefeated. When that was supposed to be a tough fight. Against Deryachenko, the same way. Against Trout was a good scrap, but he still won it very comfortably. Jamel, he knocked out Lubin, a big fight, supposed to be his biggest test. In the first round, he knocked out Rosario. He knocked out Tony Harrison when people was like, "Oh man, it was controversial." Where I felt like he got robbed. I felt like he got robbed, but people they were trying to justify Tony Harrison winning. So I was like, okay, he knocked him out in the rematch. So they look impressive when they step up. That's what makes a pound for pound guy very special. Like that's why I believe Errol Spence, we're gonna come out with our own pound for pound list, new media. Me and Dante, we're gonna come out with a new pound for pound list. But definitely you could expect Jamal, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford to be on top because they really proved themselves, Yeah. Let me see, hold on. Let me make sure T-Tone. So T-Tone, what's your number?
You better call him.
I'm trying to call him because he's not trying to call in, but he ain't got time to waste. He not even being serious right now. So let me go ahead. Pick up some more calls. How you doing, Aki? Who this is and where you calling from?
Oh, shit.
Hello?
Hold on, I'm still listening to YouTube. Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, y'all real low or whatever. This ain't T-Tone, man. It's Terrence, man.
I know T-Tone won't call in, man. I already knew that.
Yeah, this not T-Tone, man.
You said 419. You lying, T-Tone. Your number is not up here. I don't see 419. Quit capping, T-Tone.
No, I'm 817, baby.
Take your L, T-Tone. I know you don't got no cojones, T-Tone. It's okay. Go see your poppy, Canelo, T-Tone. Yeah, go ahead, keep my bad.
Who you speaking to me?
No. I'm speaking to somebody in the comment section. My bad. Oh, I was just.
Oh man, come on, don't do me like that, man. I said it's kind of hard to hear you or whatever, so that's why I said it. But man, I feel like, man, honestly, Errol Spence, he good or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't put nothing past Errol Spence, man. I just feel like the media is catapulting his career way more than what it should be right now. I mean, like, honestly, he fought a couple decent names, but he ain't been around long enough to say that he is actually pound for pound right now. You got people like Sean Porter with a hell of a career.
So
Danny Garcia, hell of a career. Keith Thurman, hell of a career. But they all fighting in circles, though.
So who you believe is pound for pound?
You say what now?
Yeah, I mean,
who I believe pound for pound?
Yeah.
Right now, man, it's hard to name a pound for pound because don't nobody want to fight each other. Right now, there ain't really no pound for pound.
No, but I'm saying, like, if you felt like Errol's not pound for pound, you're supposed to be able to name me 10 fighters on top of him that's on pound for pound.
I mean, you got guys who like, of course, Terence Crawford, he coming up on top because you got to look at it.
All right, Terence,
the man came up 3 divisions.
Yeah, I just want to know who's your top 10. Just name me fighters that you feel like on top of Errol Spence, that you feel like, hey, these guys on top of Errol because they did more. Go ahead and name them out to me. Terence,
I feel Jamal just catapulted. Jamal just catapulted.
Okay,
him and Jamel, they just catapulted up there.
That's 3 names. Keep going.
Canelo, he up there. I give it to Canelo.
Canelo.
I give it to Usyk just because he became undisputed.
Usyk.
He did his job up there.
Okay.
And shit, that's what I'm gonna give you right now, man. I'm driving. I can't think that fast, but that's what I'm gonna give you right now.
Man, that's 5, man. So what you gonna have? Errol number 6 now? You riding out?
I give Earl a 6 or a 7, man. I mean, just think about it though, honestly.
I got you. I got him on
Before he had Sean Porter.
I got him on top.
He got Sean Porter.
Yeah.
Mikey, and then a Kell Brook that came down 13 pounds with a broken eye. How you gonna give him that and say Kell Brook could be a better fight for Errol Spence with that going on than a better fight for Terence Crawford, and he coming off a win and he only dropping 7 pounds.
Errol Spence broke his other eye socket.
But that's what I'm trying to say is Kell Brook came off a worse situation. Coming down all that weight with a bad injury like that versus Triple G.
He looked good.
Now he's pretty healthy, coming down 7, and he's just coming off a win. Now everybody want to sit here and degrade him when he fights Terence Crawford.
All right, so let me get my points across. First of all, when it comes to the Gennady Golovkin fight with Kell Brook, remember they stopped that fight early. It ain't like he knocked him out where he was knocked out on the floor on some Dillian White. No, they saved him. They threw in the white towel as soon as Kell Brook, pretty much was telling his trainer that something wrong with his eye. So it ain't like he took damage, and he made the weight fine. So like I said, that remember Kell Brook looked good in that fight. It was just the fact that Errol Spence broke him down. But let me say this, like you name a couple fighters. First of all, Canelo, he took steroids in the past, but okay, you could put him on the list if you want to. But
that's why I say he's barely making it.
Yeah, but first of all, Usyk, he unified the division, but who did he beat in that division? Do you know them guys? Can you name me who he beat?
I actually don't.
See, that's what I'm saying. You don't even know who he beat. But I can name you who Errol Spence beat. He beat Kell Brook. He beat Mikey Garcia. He beat Sean Porter. That's 3 names.
But look, Mikey Garcia came up 2 divisions.
So who did beat?
Anybody Terence Crawford? Terence Crawford, last 3 fighters who he fought would have demolished Mikey Garcia. They would have took him out. They would have knocked him out. The green mean machine, whatever the fuck you want to call. I mean, my fault, I'm gonna lie. Whatever you want to call him, he would have knocked out Mikey.
Who did Usyk beat though? We talk. I know you talking about Terence. I got Terence as pound for pound #1, but I'm talking about. I'm naming you the guy's name. So who did Usyk beat?
Listen. My main reason for calling in because I was in the comment section arguing with a bunch of cats about Spence and Bud. That's really what I want to be my main topic.
All right.
I understand about how you want to be who pound for pound and all this, but I'm trying to say that you can't degrade Terence Crawford about who he fights if don't nobody want to fight him.
We're not doing that. That's not what new media does. We don't do that. Now fans, they could do whatever they want to do, but like I said over here, we speak the truth. But if you're gonna name Jamal Charlo, can you name me guys that he beat that's gonna put him on top of Errol? Like okay, what's equivalence to Sean Porter, Sean Porter, Kell Brook, and Mikey Garcia? Name me fighters that Jamal Charlo beat that top them names. So we got Deryachenko, right? I mean, help you out. We got J-Rock. So we got Trout. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, they all on the same pedestal. Is what I'm trying to say. So Errol Spence,
right? Those are good names.
Yeah, you giving Terence Crawford his props, and I respect that. But you gotta also do the same thing to Errol. You gotta give him his props because he did fight names.
I'm giving him his props. He is not a bad fighter. I'm just looking for him to fight like this Danny fight coming up. That's great. But everybody keeps saying Pacquiao, but Pacquiao don't want to fight him. So who is he gonna fight after Danny? If he gets past Danny, who is he gonna fight after Danny?
Keith, Ugas, all these are big names.
But see, my main thing is if Crawford was to fight anybody other than the top Thurman, Danny, Porter, or Spence, if he was to fight anybody else, it'll be a degrade for his career. Like he need to fight somebody. If he fights someone other than that. If he was to fight Ugas right now, I don't want to see it. That's a bomb ass. Crawford too good.
Let me ask you this question. So if Errol fights Keith Thurman, for example, next after Keith Thurman racks up a win, and Crawford fights a Mean Machine, for example, or like a guy on that level, a good opponent, just no name. Who you think gonna get criticized? Who you think should get criticized?
Crawford. Of
All right,
course.
that's what I'm saying, and that's what's happening though,
Of course.
because Errol's fighting Danny Garcia coming off a car crash, a car accident. Meanwhile, Crawford, he can't even fight a Kell Brook because ESPN, they saying they not interested. Bob Arum ain't trying to give him a big name. He not trying to pay for a Keith Thurman. He not trying to pay for a Porter. This is not Crawford's fault. This is Top Rank fault. But Crawford did re-sign with them guys, so he got to be held accountable because it's his business decisions that's causing that to happen. At the end of the day, I still got Crawford number one pound for pound till proven otherwise, till he get dethroned, till Errol Spence beat him. But at the end of the day, like I said, I got to acknowledge that Errol is on a fast track way more than Crawford. You know what I'm saying? But, man, I appreciate you calling in, though, man. Always good to get another person, point of view, all right?
Nope. No problem, my key man. See, y'all have a good night, man. You finish watching the podcast.
All right.
Peace.
My man said Errol ain't on the pound for pound. Come on, AKHi. You can't do my man Errol like that. You can't just go off on my man, but it's all right. Let's go. What we got left?
Okay, we got Gervonta Tank Davis and Cruz. It was supposedly their fight upcoming was supposed to be on October 24th, but now they moved it to October 31st in San Antonio, Texas. Supposedly they bring in a crowd in, obviously on Showtime pay-per-view.
Yeah, no,
So,
I mean the crowd is not guaranteed so far, from what I heard, but that's what they said, that they moving the venue to Texas because of that. But I think it's more into it. I think they are competing with Khabib. Khabib, he fighting on that day in the UFC. So remember, Charlo pay-per-view, me and you was watching the Charlo pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And there's also Israel fight, the UFC 253. So there's competition. Like it was during the same time. So it's like, it's like you have to pick and choose. And the pay-per-views on Showtime aren't cheap either. So it's like, I'm not going to pay for both. I'm only going to watch boxing. A lot of people might end up choosing UFC, whatever they feel like they watch it. And the Israel fight was huge.
Exactly.
So I think that really, really hurt the pay-per-view for Showtime. And I've been telling that. I've been telling everybody that will listen, they shouldn't have pay-per-view fights when it comes to boxing and UFC on the same day. So if the UFC is not going to move their fight, then boxing should move their fight, because it's just not smart on their behalf. They're going to end up losing a lot of money, which I truly believe that's what happened with the Charlo fight. I think they ended up losing a lot of money because they had it on the same night as Israel. Now, all the fans that was going to, if there was nothing on TV, oh, man. Now, all of the fans, I had the volume up for the studio. Now, all of the fans that was going to watch the fight, all of the fans that was going to watch the fight, if it wasn't on, if the UFC card wasn't on, they end up not watching it because they were like, you know what, we're going to watch the UFC. So that's why I believe they pushed the fight back, is because of business issues. The fact that they don't want to compete with Khabib, because it's a big fight. Khabib and Justin, that's possibly the biggest UFC fight yet this year. So you don't want to compete with that for Gervonta versus Cruz, because one thing you could anticipate for Cruz versus Gervonta versus Cruz is that it's going to be ugly. Somebody is going to get sent to the hospital.
With the Gervonta Cruz
Man,
fight.
Gervonta going to violate him. I'm trying to say it in a nice way, but it's going to be ugly. If you want to see blood, sweat, and tears, then watch the Gervonta fight, because it's about to be ugly. I'm going to leave it at that. But still, it's going to be a massacre. Even Cruz fans know Gervonta is about to annihilate. He about to annihilate Cruz. So they might not be willing to pay the money. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of fans, like I said, they might want to watch the Khabib. I'm a huge Khabib fan.
Yeah.
I was going to watch both. I was going to find a way to watch both. So, I mean, like I said, I'm glad they didn't put me in that position where I'm panicking. I got to do this. I got to do that. So, like I said, I'm glad that they pushed the fight back. So I truly believe it's because of the UFC. They saw how it hurt the Charlo pay-per-view. So they made the right decision by moving the fight back to October 31st. So, you know, I'm glad they did that. In the meantime, I think I'm gonna go ahead and finish the show, unless we have one more. Hold on.
Nobody calling?
These decafs don't got no cojones. T-Tone still in the comment section. I can't believe this, man. What is this man doing? Man, how you gonna call yourself T-Tone, but you won't ring my phone? You won't call nobody. What kind of tone do you have? You got any other topic?
I got Lopez saying that he knocks out Lomachenko in 3 rounds. What's your take
That's a
on
bold prediction. That's a bold prediction, but I like that. That's look, man. If I'm gonna place a bet on somebody, and I hear this, that's when I'm going to want to place a bet, because normally at this level, when two fighters at this level, when they fight each other, you don't hear trash talk to this extent, especially not coming from an undefeated fighter. You know, you don't hear it's trash talk to this extent. I'm loving it. Seeing
So
the confidence.
Lopez
He's confident.
undefeated.
He undefeated. So I'm loving the fact that he young. He 22, I believe, but he confident. You know what I'm saying? He trash talking. He's saying he gonna knock him out. He gonna do this. He could do that. He gonna do that. That make me more comfortable if I'm placing a bet to put money on it, because he is the underdog. I still think Lomachenko going to edge it, but I am a huge Tio fan. Like, I'm a really huge Tio fan, but is mind over emotion.
Right.
So I gotta be honest with myself. You know what I'm saying? Unlike these decaps, I'm gonna tell the truth. So if I felt like Lomachenko gonna win, I'm not gonna just pick Tio because he's my guy. My heart want Tio to win, but my mind telling me Lomachenko got the skill. If Tio doesn't knock him out early, then Lomachenko is definitely gonna win on the scorecards. One thing for sure, even if Tio beats Lomachenko is gonna rob him. Remember, this is a guy, Lomachenko, they erase his loss. This is a guy where they try to act and paint the narrative that he's pound for pound number one when he's not. He never been pound for pound number one. This is a guy where he got spanked and schooled by Salido. Salido schooled him from round one. Lomachenko was pretty hesitant. Man, I'm telling you, Salido schooled him from round one. He studied him early on. After 2 rounds, he turned it up on him and made it ugly and beat him. He took him to the University of Mexico. I'm talking about a university that Lomachenko didn't know exist. And Lomachenko was so shook of this university, he got bullied in this university, that he didn't want to revisit the university when he had an opportunity to fight Salido in a rematch. So I truly believe, I remember when I was watching the Salido fight, it was a split decision. It's like, what do you mean a split decision? Freaking Salido beat him up and bullied him from pillow to post. It was like, it was a bully fight. Like, it wasn't a fight. I remember Lomachenko, he came into the game, everybody was hyping up his amateur record, and I was questioning on things like, man, do I want to pick Lomachenko? But man, even though Salido is washed, he's still a veteran. And I told everybody that would listen, if Lomachenko is fighting a technical fighter like Gary Russell, I could probably favor him. But when he fighting a Salido, man, Salido is a dog. He Mexican style. You don't see that in the amateurs.
Yeah.
So Lomachenko is not prepared for it. He never saw that Mexican style. He haven't saw it to this day. So that's why I believe Lomachenko was extremely surprised. And the fact that he had a split decision lost in that fight tells it all. They were trying to rob Salido. When Salido beat him up from pillow to post, it was a bully match. It's like, you remember when you go to school, you see a bully somebody, and that dude ain't fighting back. Lomachenko was not fighting back. It was a bully fight. Like Salido was bullying Lomachenko the whole time. He was like, man, this got to end, man. I was feeling bad for Lomachenko. I was like, man, this need to end. It was just a bully night, you know. I call it the bully night when Lomachenko lost to Salido. And then it was a split decision victory for Salido. I was like, what? But anyways, you know what I'm saying? So my point is, if it goes to the scorecard, ain't no way T.O. going to hear his name get called out as the winner.
So he
better knock him out, you know, or dominate him where he can't be robbed. Like Salido beat up Lomachenko so bad where they couldn't rob him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I also like what T.O. said. This is why I want to lead toward him, because if he could do this and fight like Salido, he said that he's going to take the blueprint out of Salido. It's not really overthink things, but rely on instinct and make it a dog fight than a technical fight. Because see, when it's technical, Lomachenko could outthink you. He could be steps ahead of you. But when it's a fight, when it's a brawl, when you're making it a fight, when you don't allow Lomachenko to think, that's when you could get the upper hand. Like I pointed out before, if T.O. could stop Lomachenko from performing his favorite pivot move, which is, you know, as an orthodox fighter, he will come this way and try to establish that angle and control this side. And he's going to avoid this counter by ducking, you know. And if he could stop Lomachenko from, you know, performing his favorite pivot move, he could beat Lomachenko. I'm not going to say that. The way he could do that is whenever Lomachenko try to do that, instead of ducking down and try to push on him, whatever, he need to switch from orthodox to southpaw. If you go back and watch the Salido fight versus Lomachenko, the way he stopped Lomachenko from doing that favorite pivot move of his, he will always switch his from orthodox to southpaw. He will throw it overhand, then he will switch to southpaw and throw it overhand left hook. If you do that, Lomachenko will walk to a hook if he try to do that pivot move. So that's one way Vasily Lomachenko could end up getting.
So you say you're leaning towards T.O., but you having Lomachenko win?
If T.O. could do what Salido did, a lot of things that Salido did, if he studied the Salido fight, he could win. But he also got to rely on instinct, fight smart, and make it a fight. Make it a fight where Lomachenko can't think too much. Then he could win, you know. But if he fights, if he respect Lomachenko too much, you know, where he's boxing him, where he's doing what, you know what I'm saying, like he turned it to a boxing match, I think Lomachenko will get the best of him, you know, and possibly edge him out. But if he does go to the scorecard, either way, T.O. getting robbed, you know, even if he wins, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you know what I'm saying, like I said, we're going to end it there. We already had a good time slot. I appreciate everybody, man. Hold on. Man, do you see anybody? Do you see T-Tone?
Nope. Nobody.
All right. Hey, I got a witness. T-Tone ain't called in. T-Tone trolling. T-Tone got smashed last time. I'm talking about we spanked him. You know what I'm saying? I spanked him last time. He already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? I give it to you as many times as you want it. You get knocked out on BoxingHood as many times as you want it, T-Tone. You could get it 1, 2, 3 times, 4 times, you name it. Call me the baby of debating. I knock you out 4 times if I got to in one night. So with that being stated, man, T-Tone, just grow some cojones, bro. Like for real, man. You can't even use that word cojones. And whatever draws you got on, make sure you change them tonight. Because I know you wet right now.
Damn.
Quit being a female and call in, man. Be a man, bro. It's just boxing at the end of the day. So tell the people in the comment section what color draws you got on. I could tell you've been hanging out with Oscar De La Hoya too much. You've been hanging out with Oscar, haven't you? What have y'all been doing, man? But let me go ahead. It's so crazy. Got the line for you. We got heart of a lion. Charlo more Mexican than Canelo. He got more heart of a Mexican than Canelo. I got more Mexican heart than you. That's for sure, man. What number you talking about, man? You don't even got a tone, man. You know what I'm saying? Now he gonna act like he called it. Now, do you see his number?
No.
No. Let me turn on the brightness. Can you see his number?
No.
All right. Do you see any number?
No numbers.
Okay then. T-Tone, quit lying, quit capping, and grow some cojones, man. That's it. Go get a surgery somewhere. I'll pay for your surgery. I'll pay for you to go to listen. This is official. I will pay for T-Tone to go get a surgery, to grow some cojones and put some cojones down there and call in to BoxingHood and Split Decision. I can't pay a decaf to call in. So with that being stated, man, like I said before, subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't. And listen to these decafs. The dumb casual ass fans that don't know shit about boxing.
You don't know shit about boxing.
You better not duck me, son. You better not duck me, son.
And to all the decafs in the comments,
please tell me why you always leave. Please tell me why you always leave.
You won't call in when it's smoke time. All of my AKHis are my witnesses. When we live, when we calling out T-Tone, when we calling out all of the decafs, they on no show. They're not calling in. But as soon as the live is over, they in the comment section talking bull crap. They being keyboard warriors. Because I'm telling you guys, I recently discovered that the decafs don't have cojones. They have female parts. I recently discovered that. And I got the proof as you all witnessing it. So with that being stated, subscribe, click on the notification bell to get notified every time I post or go live. I truly appreciate all of my AKHis that's tuning in. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we see you guys next week.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Hold it, you're not that pretty. I'm a bad man. Wait. I shook up the wall. I shook up the wall. I shook up the wall.
I bear witness, there's only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is his final messenger. That's what I said, Larry, on the bungle fight. Thanking you.
They call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody